Welcome to MGT548 Leadership in Teams. I'm Hetty Bryant and I'm your subject coordinator or convener for this session. So let's get started. I'm going to give you an overview of the subject first, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview about myself, and then we'll just talk in general about the subject and some of the things you might want to do to get started. So there's quite a lot of learning outcomes in this subject, which are really a good key marker to what the subject's about. Okay? So the first one is you need to be able to reflect upon professional and/or personal experiences in leading teams and critically review the effectiveness of team leadership in these encounters. And you'll get an opportunity to do this both within the subject and within your organisation. Be able to critically analyse your leadership styles and reflect on how your leadership skills can be enhanced to achieve high performance in teams. So when we talk about critically review and critically analyse, it means that you have to bring in a number of different readings or literature, theories, and compare and contrast those. Now, I don't want to scare you off if you're new to study or just coming back into study. We will be giving you support for this with academic support and advice. Okay? And I'll talk more about that as we get started in the subject. So, be able to distinguish between team leadership, coaching, and team facilitation skills, and then apply skills as appropriate. Be able to design an effective team in terms of size, diversity, and levels of interdependence, and evaluate the critical issues involved in managing the team at each stage of development. So we'll very much talk about the different stages of development of teams. Be able to assess various team situations and apply appropriate leadership approaches, knowledge and skills to lead various types of teams, e.g. traditional teams, virtual teams, which is so important. More and more we're working virtually. At Charles Sturt University, I work with an awesome team and none of us are co-located. I'm actually now on the far north coast because I'm a sessional lecturer. We have lecturers based in Bathurst, Wagga, Albury, Parramatta, and also we have global teams, and more your organisations will have global teams, and it's really important that we start to look at these differences because technology and globalisation are changing the way we lead. Be able to examine and use emotional intelligence to lead others, facilitate effective conflict management, and develop negotiation skills. So you'll get to practice that in the subject and then use these skills in your workplace or community organisation. Be able to articulate how effective intercultural communication can enhance leadership skills. So this is really important to look at that. And be able to integrate these learning outcomes in improved reflective practice with the aim of becoming a more effective leader of teams. So there's a hell of a lot in there. But basically we see that teams are so important, and this subject is the underlying narrative for it is really about collective and collaborative leadership. It's relational leadership. It's beyond the individual, just working as an individual leading a team. It's actually working in leadership with your team, and your team show leadership as well. So it's very, very important that we look at the people who we work with are our team. So for instance, in my course team, we're a team. There's no hierarchy there. We all lead each other. We all come in at different times to work together. I was the chair of a board and we worked very much as a team. Okay? Whilst I chaired meetings, it was a very collaborative and engaging and empowering process. Now, I'll go back to this. Now I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview of myself, and some of you who have done subjects before me might want to fast forward here or are doing any other subjects at the same time. I like to give you a background of myself because it's important that we locate ourselves, each of us, as leaders and in practice. So my background is I've been at Charles Sturt University for about 16 years now, or 15, 16 years. I started off in the professional stream, and I started off in managing and leading leadership development, organisational development, change management, really working in that area for quite a long time, and most recently managing the diversity and equity function. And I decided that I needed to know more about my practice, and underpinning my practice is facilitation and facilitative leadership. So I did a Doctor of Communication in facilitating organisational change. And after I graduated, I decided that I wanted to semi-retire and become a sessional lecturer, and I also supervise. So I lecture into leadership and to organisational communication, and I also supervise some doctoral students, some honours and master's students as well. And I'm really energised by working in that space. And we really work in a very collaborative and collegial leadership space. It's not hierarchical at all. And I'm trying to model that as I run this subject as well. So we'll have some online meetings and stuff like that. And and you'll have online meetings with your groups as well. And you need to be cognizant of where the power is lying and being sharing, and being able to collectively be able to work with each other. So to that end, it's really important that you get started early, because there is group work, and I can hear some of you and feel some of you groaning. However, if you're going to be part of a subject which is about leading teams, there obviously has to be group work. So it's important that you read the following. In week 1 of the session, you'll each be assigned to a virtual team of approximately 6 people now. There's about 36 people in this subject. Your teams have been assigned, and you'll know which they are. Hopefully. If you don't, we'll sort that out. Your virtual teams are becoming increasingly common, and developing the skills to lead and participate effectively in virtual teams is essential in the contemporary workforce. And I've talked about that before. And you'll actually get a chance, you'll have your own Adobe Connect room that you can work in to share practice and resources. However, I recognise that Adobe Connect mightn't be for everyone. You might wish to use Skype, you may wish to use Zoom. A lot of the groups that I'm I'm on the organising committee for the conference for the Australasian Facilitators Network. We use Zoom to great effect. It's very easy. And it's really important though that you can share resources on whatever platform you use, and you'll probably use emails amongst yourselves as well. And that you can actually share the load, so everyone gets a chance to set the agenda, everyone gets a chance to facilitate the meeting, and you actually be able to present your screens as well. So the Adobe Connect room is set up for you. Having said that though, you may not wish to use that. You may wish to use Zoom. Now I would like to come in and at least come to one of your meetings. Okay, so when we get a bit further along into maybe week 3, we'll look at you inviting me into one of your meetings, and it can be within the Adobe Connect room, or it could be in some other room. Okay, I do have Zoom and I do have Skype, and if there's something else, GoToMeetings, I've got that as well. I'm happy to use whatever you want to use. Okay, because this is your subject. This is what you want to this is what you need to own yourselves. So if you're not in a position to commit to group work at this stage, and some people aren't, it's the different stages of our journey, across the whole of the session, you'll not be able to obtain a pass grade in this subject. So I'm just letting you know that, because the assessment tasks are based around this group work. And I will know whether you've participated in the group work or not. And if you look through the assessment tasks, you'll see very much so that the last one, if you haven't participated in the group work, you won't be able to you won't be able to write to the last one. So I will take questions from anyone about anything. You can post them first of all to the main subject forum or the assessment discussion forum. You can email me, which is preferable, and I normally get back to you within 3 days. I am avoiding weekends as much as possible. So if you have something urgent, try and get it to me, during the week, please. And I just really appreciate that. And then you can phone. I have consultation hours on Mondays and most Thursdays. However, the last week of July and the first week of August, I will not be in the office, so I won't be contactable. So send me an email and I'll follow up with you. Okay? So, welcome to the subject. If you're new to study, as I said, we will be giving you some support and some resources. So, good luck. Cheers.